Welcome into the Cowboys Report, presented today by Roan. I'm rocking one of their commuter collection dress shirts. Get you through the workday straight into whatever comes next. If you want to feel comfortable at the office, get yours today. Roan.com/chatsports. 20% off your order when you use promo code chatsports. It's a draft-focused show on today's Cowboys Report. We'll break down the latest 3-round ESPN NFL mock draft. Todd McShay, Mel Kiper going back and forth on that front. And there's even more. Bijan Robinson to the Dallas Cowboys buzz because they trade up. We'll discuss that one in depth. But first, the channel still might go to sub only if we don't get to 154.5K subscribers around the NFL draft. There's always a bit of a slight delay on the numbers, so we'll give you some buffer time there. 313 more to go, so if you want us to stay open to everybody, or if you just want to make sure you don't miss out on any of our multiple times per day content here at the Cowboys Report, go subscribe. YouTube.com/@CowboysTV. Let's get into the McShay-Kiper tag team mock draft. Kiper had the odds and McShay had the evens. Zay Flowers goes 17. They didn't change after the Allen Robinson trade. Other notable players off the board as it relates to Dallas. Kalijah Kancey goes 18. Nolan Smith goes 20. Jordan Addison goes 21. And then a run of 3 straight players, or really 4 straight, you might have interest in. Cornerback Emmanuel Forbes, cornerback Joey Porter Jr., which would be a dream outcome for Dallas if he somehow got to 26. I doubt it. Michael Mayer off the board, the second tight end, because Dalton Kincaid, Bijan Robinson are long gone. Deonte Banks off the board at pick number 25. So the running backs are gone. The receivers getting a little bit thin. But there is one receiver who is still left on the board. That's the selection for Dallas, made by Todd McShay, by the way. Quentin Johnston out of TCU, the local product, is the selection for Dallas in round 1. Johnston is a bigger receiver who does some great stuff after the catch, but does not play the way you would expect a almost 6'3", 210-ish pound receiver to play. He's not great in contested catches. He has some body catch. I mean, the photo right there, right? It's a body catch right there. He's letting it get into his chest. Those have been some issues. There's boom, and there's bust downside with Quentin Johnston. Here's what Todd McShay wrote on the selection. This feels a little early for Johnston, but I played myself a bit here by taking Michael Mayer, who would be a perfect fit in Dallas 2 picks ago. Johnston could be a true number 2 behind CeeDee Lamb. He has a big catch radius and can make plays downfield. He does. He's almost 6'3", 33 and 5/8 inch arms. The 40 time was not the best, 4.52. That's fine at 212. I think it's still a good 40 time. The 3-cone was pretty poor, but he had a great yak this past season. The yards after catch were super impressive. He had a great stat line against Michigan, non-existent against Georgia. I don't blame Quentin Johnston for his quarterback missing a touchdown pass by 20 yards. Wrong hash altogether. It was a horrible throw. Like, he's not great against press. It's weird. The traits of the big body, some of the size that he has, don't match up with the skills. He plays much smaller with some of the yak and underneath stuff that he and press issues than what you would expect out of a 6'3", 212-pound wide receiver. So it makes it a little bit scary. Some other players who were on the board, by the way: Trenton Simpson, Will McDonald, Myles Murphy, Darnell Washington, Steve Avila as well. So the board didn't fall the best way. I think you make great arguments for, I think Murphy's great value there. McDonald is a player that the Cowboys, Dan Quinn, like. Darnell Washington, Steve Avila. Those last 3 names, and Trenton Simpson too, all names they've had clear interest in pre-draft process. But you could make a real argument that Johnston is the best player on their board. I wouldn't be shocked if that was the case, since there aren't very many big receivers in this year's class. So do you want to draft Quentin Johnston? Y for yes, N for no. Go ahead and sound off for me in the comments section. Now, today's show is made possible by Roan. The commuter collection can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Whether that is drinks. Maybe you want to go golfing afterward. You just want to be comfortable in the office, not with the sticky, pure cotton shirts that were so popular in the olden days. The commuter collection has the most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, polos. You never have to worry about what to wear with the Roan commuter collection. The 4-way stretch fabric provides breathability and flexibility. It leaves you free to enjoy whatever life throws your way, from work to just the commute home, drinks, golf, you name it. Head to roan.com/chatsports and use promo code chatsports. Save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you go to roan.com/chatsports and use code chatsports. It's time to find your corner office comfort. Upgrade your closet with Roan today and get that 20% off with the promo code chatsports, roan.com/chatsports. It's in the comment section and the description of today's show. The stretch fabric makes it nice and easy so you're not feeling like a robot in the end. Thank you, Jeremy. Roan.com/chatsports. Round 2, pick 58. It's Sam LaPorta. I would be fully on board with this selection. I'm fairly high on LaPorta. I have a second-round grade on him. I think he'd be one of the better players left on the board for the Cowboys in this scenario. So I'm on board here. Tight end, after all, though. He's a different player than, a Hawkinson, a Fant. That's okay. That's how it tends to be, right? Here's what Todd McShay argued. A tight end this good, this late? Makes me feel better about the Cowboys missing out on the spot in round 1. LaPorta could give Dak Prescott and the Dallas offense an immediate answer to losing Dalton Schultz in free agency. The tight end class is so good that I would like to draft somebody in the first 2 rounds. The Iowa offense was bad. Despite that, Sam LaPorta did show up pretty well. Now, there are too many drops on his film. I would argue that the quarterback play was a significant factor in that. The catchable balls are not maybe the most catchable compared to, catching passes from a Bryce Young or a C.J. Stroud. Iowa's quarterback was a disaster. The offense was not very good. Now, you might think Iowa tight end and go, oh, he's a great blocker. He's actually not that great of a blocker. He's a bit more of the skinny receiver type at 6'3" and change, 245. But he's a great athlete. Good yak as well, 4.5, 940, great athletic testing overall. You're talking Evan Ingram style athlete here. Also tested like George Kittle did, and size-wise very similar, but he is not the blocker that George Kittle is, so we're not going to do that comparison. Let's go to round 3. Kendre Miller out of TCU is a pick here. So 2 Texas Christian University prospects taken by the Dallas Cowboys in this mock draft. I do like Kendre Miller, by the way. I have a 4th round grade on him, so late 3rd. You're not that far off. Might be some better backs I have, but it's a flavor of ice cream to an extent. Here's what Todd argued. Dallas moved on from Ezekiel, so it's a prime candidate to add a back on day 2 to pair with Tony Pollard in the backfield. And Miller has some impressive agility. His tape is filled with elusive jump cuts. I would be inclined to agree with that one too. Fluid lower half works out pretty well. Lots of big plays. Had MCL surgery after suffering in the CFP semifinals. He's not the biggest back in terms of size. Cowboys tend to like 6-foot players, but I know that they like Kendre Miller. You're talking about a guy who does not turn 21 until June. I think his best football is ahead of him. The 3rd down usage, overall speed were some of the question marks I had there. He had 2 drops this year in a pretty small sample size, but a lot of big plays, made a lot of guys miss. Didn't have a massive workload in college. This kind of late 3rd, 4th round type of prospect, I think it would be a good fit for the Dallas Cowboys. So grade the ESPN 3-round NFL mock draft from McShay and Kiper. Kiper helped balance it, but it was actually McShay who made the only picks there. A, B, C, D, or F. Sound off for me in the comments section with what you would grade that ESPN mock draft. Let's move once again to Bijan Robinson. Todd McShay, talk on the Dan Patrick Show, and Bill Barnwell in a separate article, both suggested the Cowboys could trade up for Bijan. Now, the Barnwell side, it's a article does every year, 1 trade for each pick. Don't read too much into that. That's just him having fun. McShay, however, claims the Cowboys are obsessed with landing a running back, and Jerry Jones could make a splash to keep Bijan in Dallas because, well, we always have the yearly Jerry wants to make a splash report at some point. They play the Cotton Bowl, sure thing there, Jeremy. Let's look at the trade, what it would cost, though, because that's important in this whole conversation, right? To get to, say, 15, which is about what Bill Barnwell suggested, if you want to jump a team like the Commanders from taking Bijan, keeping him away from an NFC East rival potentially, it would cost you your second-round pick. Now, maybe you get lucky, and it's not much trade interest. Green Bay just really wants to move down and take a third and change, but trade value is second round. That's what the chart says. Jumping ahead to maybe only give him your third-round pick, that gets you to about 20. And Seattle does love to trade down, so I'm sure they'd be on board with that one there. That would jump like the Chargers in particular, getting ahead of them if they were thinking about taking Bijan Robinson. But do you really want to move your first plus one of your second best assets you're thinking could be a future starter for you for a running back? As good as Bijan is, that's a lot to give up. So be honest with me. Do you want to move up, trade up for Bijan Robinson? T for trade or P for pass? Go ahead and sound off for us in the comment section. If you were the Jones boys cooking on the yacht, would you trade up for Bijan? T for trade, P for pass. I hate the idea. It's one thing, and I'm fine with just taking Bijan if he's there at 26. It's another thing to say, you know what, we have very light draft capital. We typically draft pretty well. Let's give up our first-round pick and a potential day one starter at tight end or guard to go get a running back. Bijan is a great football player, but he is the running back, and the positional value there is a red flag. I wouldn't want to move up for a tight end either. There's only a couple guys I would want to move up for. I'm going to leak the Peter Skronsky faked Laramie Tunsil video all over again to get him to drop, but I'm not doing it for Bijan. By the way, the Jerry Jones wants to make a splash in the draft is a myth. When was the last time Jerry Jones and the Cowboys actually did that? I would find us trading up in round one, right? That was Morris Claiborne way back in 2012. That's how long we have to move and look back to find the last time the Cowboys made the splash to go up and get somebody. We're talking a decade plus. So this whole idea of, well, Cowboys need a running back, I think it's forcing dots to be connected and going, well, Jerry loves running backs and Jerry wants to make a splash. He's not in charge anymore. So I would be shocked, and I'd be, if the cost is what the cost is projected to be, I'd be fairly upset moving up to go get a running back, because when was the last time a running back put the team over the top? Emmitt Smith. When he held out, came back, got paid, and worked out wonders. That is the last time it's happened. I'm not moving up significant assets to give that up.